Welcome to Lions News Fan Report, your home for the freshest updates, breaking developments, and deep dive analysis on our beloved Detroit Lions. Today I've got something brewing that could reshape how we think about our secondary moving forward. And trust me, you're going to want to hear every single detail of this because it connects directly to our championship aspirations. The front office has been laser-focused on building something sustainable here in Detroit, something that doesn't just flash for one season, but dominates for years to come. And while we're in the thick of a playoff push right now, the smart organizations are already mapping out their future, already identifying the pieces that will keep this window wide open. There's a name circulating in draft circles that fits our system perfectly, a defensive back with the kind of tools that make defensive coordinators smile. And I'm going to break down exactly why this could be one of the most strategic moves we make in the upcoming draft cycle. Right now, as we battle through this grueling season, the Lions are projected to hold the 17th overall pick in the first round of the 2026 NFL Draft. That positioning could shift depending on how deep our playoff run goes, and honestly, I'm expecting us to earn a lower pick because this team is built for January football. But regardless of where we land in the first round, it's the later rounds where championship rosters are truly built, where you find those hidden gems who develop into cornerstones. The fourth round has historically been a sweet spot for finding defensive backs who can contribute immediately while developing into long-term starters. And that's exactly where our focus needs to be as we look at reinforcing our secondary. Let's talk about the current state of our cornerback room for a moment. Amik Robertson has been solid for us, absolutely no complaints about his effort and production. But here's the reality that every Lions fan needs to understand. Robertson is in the final year of his 2-year deal. That means we're facing a potential departure in free agency, or at minimum, we need to be prepared with quality depth that can step up if he walks or if injuries strike. We've seen firsthand this season how devastating injuries can be to a roster, how quickly depth gets tested when you're competing on multiple fronts. The smart play is to get ahead of that situation now, to identify prospects who can come in and contribute on special teams immediately while learning our defensive system and preparing to take on larger roles. This is where the draft evaluation process becomes fascinating. You're not just looking for talent, you're looking for fit. You're looking for players whose skill sets align with what Aaron Glenn wants to do defensively, players who have the mental makeup to thrive in our culture, players who bring something extra to the table beyond just coverage ability. The secondary in today's NFL needs to be versatile, needs to be physical enough to support the run game while having the speed and technique to handle elite receivers in coverage. It's a demanding position that requires a specific type of athlete, someone with the competitive fire to match up against the best offensive weapons in the conference week after week. Now, I've been studying the 2026 draft class extensively, watching film, reading scouting reports, connecting the dots between what prospects have shown in college and what they could become at the professional level. There's one cornerback prospect who keeps jumping off the screen, someone who has all the tools we're looking for and has proven it consistently at the highest level of college football. This player has been a multifaceted contributor for his program, showing up in multiple phases of the game, demonstrating the kind of versatility that translates beautifully to the NFL. We're talking about a defensive back who doesn't just play the pass, but actively seeks out contact in the run game, who has the instincts to create turnovers, and who has the athletic profile to develop into something special under the right coaching. The SEEC is the premier proving ground for defensive backs, and this prospect has thrived in that environment. Playing against the best offensive talent in college football week after week, facing schemes designed by some of the brightest offensive minds in the sport. This cornerback has consistently risen to the challenge. His ball production is elite, absolutely elite. We're talking about a player who led the entire SEC in interceptions this past season with 5 picks, bringing his career total to 8. That kind of ball hawk mentality is exactly what you want in your secondary, someone who doesn't just prevent completions, but actively hunts for opportunities to change the game with a turnover. But here's what really sets this prospect apart, what makes him such an intriguing fit for what we do in Detroit: his run defense. Too many cornerbacks in today's game shy away from contact, want to play soft, and avoid the physical aspects of the position. Not this guy. He embraces the run game, attacks blockers, makes tackles in space, and does all the dirty work that doesn't show up on highlight reels but absolutely shows up on film. Pro Football Focus graded his run defense at 82.2 this season, which is outstanding for a cornerback. That physicality, that willingness to be a complete player, that's the kind of mentality that fits perfectly with our culture in Detroit. Think about how this type of player would complement what we already have. Imagine a secondary where every member can cover, can tackle, can create turnovers, and can execute whatever scheme Aaron Glenn dials up. That's the vision here. That's what we're building toward. This isn't about finding a one-dimensional coverage corner who disappears when teams run the ball. This is about adding a complete defensive back who can contribute in every phase, who can play multiple roles within our defensive structure, and who has the competitive makeup to thrive in the NFC North, where physical football still matters. The projection has the Lions selecting this prospect in the 4th round, specifically at pick 117. Now, draft positioning is fluid, and things can change dramatically between now and draft day, but the value proposition here is undeniable. If we can land a cornerback with this skill set, this production, and this upside in the 4th round, that's exceptional value. That's the kind of draft pick that 3 years from now people look back on and wonder how he lasted that long. The tape doesn't lie, the production speaks for itself, and the athletic tools are all there to develop into a legitimate starting cornerback in the NFL. Let's talk specifically about what he brings to special teams, because that's where most 4th-round picks make their initial impact. This prospect has the speed to be a coverage player, the physicality to hold up on kick returns, and the awareness to avoid penalties and make sound decisions in the chaos of special teams play. That immediate contribution on special teams while he develops his coverage technique and learns NFL offenses is the perfect developmental path. He's not going to be thrown into the fire on defense right away unless injuries force the issue, but he'll be contributing to winning football from day one on special teams while preparing for a larger role. The South Carolina Gamecocks have produced quality NFL defensive backs over the years, and this program has a reputation for developing physical, technically sound players who understand leverage and technique. This prospect embodies all of those qualities, showing consistent fundamentals in press coverage, demonstrating the ability to play both man and zone concepts, and displaying the ball skills to capitalize when quarterbacks make mistakes. His tape against elite SEC competition shows a player who doesn't back down from challenges, who actually elevates his game against top receivers, and who has the confidence to play aggressive without being reckless. One of the most encouraging aspects of his game is his football intelligence. You can see on film that he understands root concepts, recognizes formations, and processes information quickly enough to make plays on the ball. That mental processing speed is crucial at the NFL level, where everything happens faster and quarterbacks are looking to exploit any hesitation. This prospect plays with anticipation, trusts his technique, and has the instincts to be in position to make plays. Those are coachable traits that can be refined and enhanced with NFL coaching, but the foundation is clearly there. As we look at our roster construction moving forward, adding young talent at cornerback makes sense from multiple angles. It gives us insurance if Robertson leaves in free agency, it provides quality depth if he stays, and it gives us a developmental piece who could grow into a starting role within a year or two. The Lions have done an excellent job of drafting and developing defensive backs under this regime, And there's every reason to believe that this prospect could follow that same trajectory. The combination of his physical tools, his production, his versatility, and his competitive mentality checks every box we're looking for. Now, here's where it gets really exciting for Lions fans. Imagine our defense 2 years from now with another year of development for our young core, with Aiden Hutchinson back and healthy, and with this type of cornerback prospect having developed into a contributor in our secondary. That's a defense that can genuinely compete with anyone in the league, that has the depth to sustain injuries, and that has the versatility to match up against any offensive scheme. This is how you build sustainable success, by continuously adding young talent that fits your system and developing them into impact players. The name I'm talking about is Jalen Kilgore, cornerback out of South Carolina. This is the prospect who could be wearing Honolulu blue in 2026, who could be the next piece in our championship puzzle, and who has all the traits to thrive in Detroit. Kilgore represents exactly the type of value we should be targeting in the middle rounds. A player with legitimate starting upside who can contribute immediately on special teams while developing into a defensive role. His ball production, his physicality, his versatility, and his competitive fire make him an ideal fit for what we're building here. The 2026 draft is still months away, and a lot can change between now and then. Kilgore could test exceptionally well at the combine and shoot up draft boards. He could have a strong finish to his college career and generate more buzz. Or we could get fortunate and have him available exactly where we're picking in the 4th round. Regardless of how it plays out, this is a name that every Lions fan should know, a prospect who could genuinely impact our secondary for years to come. So, now I want to hear from you. Does Jalen Kilgore sound like the type of cornerback we need in Detroit? Do you think adding secondary depth in the 4th round is the right strategy? Or would you prefer we address other positions first? How do you feel about our current cornerback situation with Robertson potentially leaving in free agency? Drop your thoughts in the comments below, because I read every single one and I love hearing your perspectives on these roster decisions. If you enjoyed this breakdown and want to stay updated on all the latest Lions news, draft analysis, and insider information, make sure you're subscribed to Lions News Fan Report and hit that notification bell so you never miss an update. I'm bringing you content like this regularly, diving deep into the moves that will shape our franchise's future. Give this video a thumbs up if you found it valuable, share it with your fellow Lions fans, and let's keep this conversation going. We're building something special in Detroit, and I want you along for every step of the journey. Until next time, one pride.